Nickynoel appears to have gone with Dark Princess Zelda. And we're on the way. And Uncle already telling us to prepare for the worst, because apparently the seed is also the worst.
I like it when Uncle tells us he's out of Weetabix, to be honest.
And nothing says good times like starting off your chest hunt with a single lone arrow. Potentially the most useless item in a chest. Ooh, we get a chest check right away. All right, Hera was a red crystal, Desert was a regular crystal, and I did not see exactly what kind of pendant Easter was. I'm sure we'll catch another look at it.
I didn't manage to catch which pendant it was either, to be honest.
Yeah, they go by pretty fast. Ooh, we get a fire rod start. I had to say that of I think the 7 different items you can get at the start, fire rod is probably one of my favorite. It's very fast.
Oh, a book as well.
Yeah. That will, a lot of runners think early book means you should be heading toward desert right away. But that always feels bad without boots or a lift source or a fire source, so we'll see what else we get here. Runner's already blessed with the gift of literacy.
Yeah, being able to read is always good.
Yeah, exactly. How are you supposed to know exactly what you're getting trolled by on the pedestal or any of the tablets if you can't read?
Well, hopefully we'll get an early pedestal check, so we'll know if we get this pedestal steed or not.
You know, I have to say the one bad thing about Fire Rod Start is that because you have a limited ammo, you can't farm for bombs as easily during the escape portion. So we might see these runners balancing, you know, keeping their mana high enough to progress while still trying to get as many kills in as possible to try to farm up those bombs. But yeah, otherwise, Fire Rod does make for a pretty quick escape experience. Say we see Nickynoel grabbing that extra pot, trying to kill a guard. Just trying to take all the free kills she can get. You know, again, just trying to farm up that bomb.
Yeah, those pot strats can be quite useful if you've got, if he says you've got a magic weapon.
Only in Link to the Past Randomizer do we encourage pot use. Oh, we're already up to Fire Shield. Impressive. A lot of people don't go out of their way to pick up the shields, but they can still be useful for blocking errant fireball shots and what have you. Ooh, a full magic refill.
That's always convenient.
Very nice.
BossCrab making quick work of the ball and chain guard. And Nickynoel too.
Well, it looks like the mirror shield escape dream is dead. Squeezy.
I just like the mirror shield because it looks so cool, and I prefer it for the laser bridge if it's needed.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's the mirror shield is just a gigantic sprite. There's a reason they call it the riot shield. That thing is huge. All right, so interesting that BossCrab was able to pick up a magic refill. So he's going to have a few more shots to spare on perhaps trying to farm up some enemy kills, looking for bombs.
Yeah, it's always useful to find those bombs early so you don't have to backtrack and do those 3 extra chests in the back of Escape.
Yep, yeah, not included in the logic in the very beginning, but always nice to grab early if you can. Ooh, BossCrab picks up a 4 bomb drop. Very nice. Putting that extra mana that he got to use. Alright, so continuing with the bad pot jokes, I like to be hitting the bookshelf, or shelf thing in the back of the throne room right around a timer of 420. That seems to be a pretty good time, you know, give or take, depending on what item you use to start escape with. So for items with a delay like bombs, sometimes that's not always possible, but for a fast item like Fire Rod, I think you're doing pretty good if you could hit that shelf at about 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen a bomb beginning for one of these yet, so I'll be interested to see that when it comes along. Yeah,
a lot of people disparage the bomb start, but it is more difficult and time consuming, but you basically get bombs already for free. You don't have to worry about farming them, so that is the small upside. Speaking of bombs, Nickynoel, roasting a few snakes, still has not been able to farm up her bomb drop, unfortunately. So we'll be seeing real shortly on the left side of your screen with BossCrab. We're going to be finding out pretty quickly whether or not there was anything significant over here on the left side of the escape. Oh, oh my gosh! There was Moon Pearl and the hammer. Wow.
Wow, that is some serious value in the back.
That is brutal for Nikki. She's gonna have to make her way down into there eventually.
And BossCrab already just 2 items away from Dark World access. 1 item even, sorry, just the gloves.
So I see some chat talking about Dark World access. Sometimes I think very early Dark World can be a bit of a trap. Like, let's say the next item they find in Lost Woods is like the glove. Going into the Dark World with 3 hearts, no weapon other than the fire rod would be, I think, a bold move when there's a lot of free chests to check in Kakariko and the dam and Generous Sky Cave. So we'll see what these runners decide to do, but often it's best to continue checking locations, even if you have Dark World access very early, just so you don't go and get yourself killed.
And there's the glove from Nickynoel.
Do I need to go buy a lottery ticket? I'm making all the calls. Oh, it looks like the crab drop was bombs. So it'll be interesting to see if Nickynoel decides to go grab one. Lumberjack tree is 20 rupees, so...
Nikki with getting her silver arrows.
Yeah, those are always really nice to see.
Yeah, if you can get an early bow, then silver arrows makes a lot of bosses a lot easier.
It looks like Nickynoel is heading out of Lost Woods without a crab check. But she's got plenty of money to buy bombs in Kakariko at the shop, so I have a feeling that will be her play. Yeah, it looks like she's heading there now.
And now we can see if BossCrab follows your advice or whether BossCrab goes straight to the Dark World from the woods.
Ooh, and a sword in the back of the bar. What's that doing there? Bar fights in Hyrule must get like super violent.
Yeah, the sword is useful to find, so you're not forced to use magic for every time you want to attack something. Alright,
so Nikki did pick up bombs at the shop, and will probably do her Kakariko check from the bottom up, because why not? Opts not to go chicken bowling. That's a pretty strong play when there's a potential to softlock, even if it is fun for the memes.
And we also want to make sure we're nice to the animals.
That's true. This is not Super Metroid, though, so we don't care about saving the animals quite as much. Alright, because of that bottle and Chicken Hut, we're able to check Sick Kid, but he's only got a piece of heart, so...
So there didn't seem to be much in the Thieves' Hideout at the top.
Yeah, early heart container, always very nice to see. I don't mind getting a heart container or two at Kakariko at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking actually with the gloves, it means Nikki probably isn't so far behind with the hammer and the pearl, because she can quite easily check the back of escape now she's got bombs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when and how she chooses to route that in. Alright, so we've seen most of the heavy treasure chest section of Kakariko. BossCrab has got sufficient hearts and he'll end up with a sword here. He could very well go into the Dark World, but there's still quite a few areas in like the Eastern Palace, the Hashwell area, and then you've got the South Shore by the dam and Generous Sky Cave. So definitely a lot of routing options available to BossCrab. It'll be very interesting to see where he elects to go.
Yeah, with the early Dark World access as well, it can sometimes get confusing because you have so many locations to check. Sometimes easier if you only have a few, and then it turns quite linear.
Yep. Oh, interesting. So we see Nickynoel. I wonder if she's going with her gloves to the sanctuary check right now.
Yeah, I think she's going to go and check the back of Escape.
Interesting to note, though, that Nickynoel did skip the race game and the library check. So we'll get to see whether or not that's important very shortly on the BossCrab screen here. All right, so Nikki picks up the hammer and the moon pearl, so she's she's probably very happy to see that.
Yeah, she's going to be glad she didn't miss that.
I wonder if she's going to head straight to South Shore or go check the race game. Nope, it looks like she's going to South Shore. Now, race game was just a heart container, and I am afraid I missed the library item. Did you by chance catch that, Squeezy?
Yeah, library item was just a bomb upgrade, so not required.
Nice. So that could be a bit of a time save for Nikki. Might make up a little bit for the no bombs and escape. All right, map check. We have got Swamp, green pendant, Mire, blue pendant, and I think Turtle Rock was one of the red crystals.
I completely missed the map check. I was seeing what BossCrab's doing, but it looks like he's going to the Houlihan room to get himself some rupees.
Yeah, very nice setup. If you offset your camera when you fall down a hole, game doesn't know where to put you, so it puts you in this room with all the monies. Oh, and a mirror in Hype Cave. Hype levels are high. And Master Sword. All right, I give that Hype Cave an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's definitely some good hype there. I think that's the second one I've seen today with Mirror and Hype Cave as well. It's possibly the same chest.
Nothing says good times efficient routing like finding the mirror very early in your Dark World escapades.
Yeah, it is really useful. You don't have to keep saving and quitting.
So I have a feeling with hammer in hand that Nikki is probably going to do this Dark World South loop from the bottom, and then she might very well mirror up and then go do the Thieves Town area, which I think is a very good plan. Very solid routing.
Yeah, that would be efficient.
She could also route in that race game check that she missed. That might be bothering her in the back of her head.
Yeah, that's probably what she's planning to do, although she needs to be careful because, of course, Dark World with only green mail, everything hits like a truck when you're in here.
Yep.
Looks like we're getting a Moldorm Cave check. I don't think Nickynoel did that.
Nope. This I do like this routing for both of these runners, kind of just based on what they've found. They're just trying to grab a lot of chests very early. Generous Guy Cave, not as generous this time. Oh, never mind, $300.
Yeah, anyone giving away $300 for free, you definitely classify them as generous.
Yes. Although that's got a feels bad, man. After spending the time to Houlihan room, you immediately get all the money you would have needed in the first place.
Yeah, but you gotta love the swaggy setup for that. I usually prefer just the easy one with falling in the hole after coming out of the doorway.
Oh yeah, that bomb setup was definitely shows BossCrab's knowledge of the game. All right, so Nickynoel opting not to go into the Dark World or any of the Village of Outcasts, instead electing to hit up the South Shore. And honestly, I can't really say I blame her. In a heads-up 1v1 tournament scenario, you really want to do everything you can to kind of minimize blowouts. And this is a pretty high-value location in terms of number of chests, and it's accessible very early in the game. So putting this off for too long can be risky, because if something important is here, your opponent, might have it for much longer than you did. Wow, super nice bomb tossing from Nickynoel there. Managed to get a 2-for-1 from those mini moldworms, which is harder than it looks.
Yeah, BossCrab is heading south from Ice Rock Cave. Looks like he's going to do a fake flippers.
Oh, interesting. So going for the fake flippers, even with the even with all the options available to BossCrab, he does elect to go with the fake flippers. You know, you've already invested the time in Nickynoel finding the bombs for the crab drop a little bit late, but she'll take them. So
Yeah,
skipping Hobo and then going to Zora here instead, it looks like.
Yeah, with the fake flippers and the other sequence breaks, it's interesting. Some runners like to do them as much as they can. Other ones like to just avoid them completely. Otherwise, some feel they get sent down the wrong path if they do them.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how runners choose to approach it. As someone who's done a lot of these seeds, it feels this is just me personally, it feels like version 29 does not reward sequence breaking as much as other versions did. So I personally try to avoid it unless it's super convenient to route. But there's certainly nothing wrong with like efficient clearing of clusters and areas, especially again in that 1v1 tournament scenario.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, fake flippers is one that it's quite an easy check, and it does allow you to get those two chests out of the way near Zora as well, if you were going to go there anyway. Life lessons.
Yeah, life lessons right there. And BossCrab did forget to check the Zora item on the way up, so he is electing to go through the deadly Zora gauntlet in fake flipper mode, where any damage is fatal. But it looks like he he manages to successfully navigate. And yeah, if you take damage in the fake flipper state, you do die. Oh, sorry about that, Squeezy.
No worries, I was just saying it's $20 on the Zora ledge, so he's not going to need to go back there.
Oh. And speaking of sequence breaks, we've got Nickynoel opting to go to Death Mountain. So it looks like these runners are definitely avoiding that dark world for as long as they can.
Yeah, if you do want to learn sequence breaking, I think the Death Mountain dark rooms are some of the easier ones to do.
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah, I'd say if you're looking at a map, the Old Man dark room is pretty okay, and as is the upper floor of the Palace of Darkness dark room.
I don't like to talk about the second one and set of them in Palace of Darkness. I've died there way too many times.
Yeah, the blind turtle room is rough, man. If you've got a lot of hearts or the fire rod to light the torch, it's not as bad, but even if you're capable of doing it, it can just take a very long time. So we got BossCrab heading to the Dark World. Meanwhile, Nicky getting not a whole lot of value from Spectacle Rock. But she does have the mirror and the hammer, so she'll be able to access both Hera and the east side of Light Death Mountain.
Yeah, and she'll be able to check the ether tablet too.
Meanwhile, BossCrab checking out the Village of Outcast, Thieves Town area. You know, I'd say with hammer in hand and the knowledge that Thieves Town is a crystal, this is a pretty smart play.
Yeah, it just depends on whether Boss is brave enough to go into Thieves Town with, I think that's only 8 hearts, or was that blue mail?
I believe it was. That is a very blue-looking sprite.
Well, with blue mail, it's going to make it a lot more attractive to go into Thieves Town now.
Oh, interesting. So, BossCrab electing to check C-shaped house before going all the way into Thieves Town. I wonder if BossCrab is going to route the other checks in first before going into Thieves Town. Ooh, the really seen. Yeah, the really seen Dark World shop. I guess wanted to pick up a health potion. Not a terrible idea if you're worried about blind getting away from you in Thieves Town.
Yeah, with 7 hearts, it is quite useful to have. And Nickynoel's going for these coffee break strats in Tower of Hera too.
Alright, so we're getting ourselves the old Forest Hera basement. Nicky's a little lucky that with wow, mitts from the early Thieves Town. Not quite vanilla, but close.
I swear version 29 is trying to troll people. We're trying to put stuff that's almost vanilla, but not quite.
But anyway, Nicky a little lucky that sequence breaking Hera still had a fire source to clear out Hera, which is very nice. So BossCrab not having the mirror from Hype Cave that Nicky has, it's going to be a little harder to kind of route in the Dark World South loop that you like doing with the mirror and the mitts, you know, kind of catching the frog and the dig game and all that. It's going to be a lot harder to do that efficiently without the mirror. So we'll see where BossCrab goes after finishing up Thieves Town here. Meanwhile, we got Nicky making her way through Hera. Without a hook shot or boots, bomb jumping that Hera big key chest is very difficult. There's like a 2-pixel window. So this is a much safer way of doing so.
And Nicky getting the red meringue from the big chest in Hera. Now she's on her way to beat Trolldorm.
Yeah, with the hammer, Moldorm isn't quite as much of an issue, but still an issue. 3 shots with a hammer will do him in, and you get to skip the 4 out of 5 damage phase of Moldworm where he's moving around like lightning. BossCrab
I believe
makes
hammer does the same amount of damage as a spin attack from the Master Sword.
Ah, that is correct. So the spin can be a little bit. It's kind of a double-edged sword, no pun intended. The spin is wider, sometimes easier to hit, but it can knock you around a little bit more from Moldworm, so you have to be careful. Meanwhile, BossCrab just picking up the flute in Thieves Town.
Wow, that's really useful. If you had the mirror, that would be fantastic, so you could just mirror back and activate it straight away.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, that lack of mirror is going to hurt BossCrab a little bit. If Nickynoel opts to go to the Village of Outcasts area right after this, she might have a little bit of a routing advantage, but we'll just have gotten there later. Alright, so we continue our Death Mountain checks, just bombs on the floating island there. Resident Sleeper, no one cares about triple bombs. I want progression items. I wonder what else could possibly be in Thieves Town, because this is already an incredible amount of progression.
We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
I'm excited. I paid for my whole seat, but I'm only going to use the edge. Ooh, shovel. Nothing says good times like finding a fetch quest item in an area you sequence break.
Only 5 bombs left in Thieves Town, I'm afraid.
And not even the actual bombs, just the potential to carry 5 bombs. Alright, so Nicky entering Paradox Cave. Pretty lucrative place as far as chest clusters. There's 7 relatively quick to grab items here. And with the knowledge that Flute was in Thieves Town, Death Mountain isn't totally out of game logic quite yet.
And BossCrab initiating the blind fight. This one can be alright if you use the scripted version, but if things get out of hand, it can get difficult very fast.
Yeah, BossCrab on script so far. Very nicely done boss fight from BossCrab there.
Yeah, good fight.
Didn't took the time to get that red potion, but ended up not needing it. Meanwhile, Nickynoel picked up the bow in Paradox Cave.
Oh, I missed that.
and I believe flippers also.
Now that's interesting because, as you said, so theoretically, if she'd gone to Thieves Town first, then all of that is in the logic, as you said.
Yep. So BossCrab, is he skipping digging game?
Looks like it. He may be intending to do that when he comes back with Mirror.
Well, he doesn't know what mirror is though.
True.
Perhaps he just forgot about it?
Yeah, I mean, he does have the right number of rupees for it. Ah, looks like he's going back for it now.
Yep, he's heading back. Meanwhile, we see Nickynoel takes her sequence broke bow, and honestly, not going directly to Eastern Palace or Palace of Darkness is not a terrible idea. Because you know the game doesn't necessarily want you to go there yet. Putting it off for a little bit is not, again, the worst idea.
Only $20 in the digging game. So it looks like Nikki is going back to the Dark World. Maybe she'll try and check out Skull Woods, because that's quite a quick check.
Yeah, agreed. And I'd say with the, with the knowledge that, so BossCrab is going to be doing the frog the hard way, unfortunately. And then this is where Nickynoel can make up a little bit of time. Having the mirror, she's going to be able to do this a little bit faster than the way BossCrab is doing it. I have a feeling he's going to be kicking himself when he eventually does find that mirror.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but again, it's down to just the routing choices there. BossCrab could easily find some progression where he is, and Nikki could find some progression where she is.
Indeed. That is the randomizer. Alright, so we've got... interesting that both of the runners have opted to put off Crystal Skull Woods with the Fire Rod in hand. They might be worried about the Mothula fight. That is a fight that is not particularly fun. Maybe waiting until you have more safeties or something like that for it.
Mothula can be a bit of a troll. The fight itself isn't hard, it's the arena with the conveyor belts and the spikes. It's just awful.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one there. Alright, so BossCrab's got his flute activated. I have a feeling that flute activation might have played a real big part into why he wanted to do this Smith turn-in, because he just wanted to get that flute online as soon as possible. And I can't really say I blame him.
Yeah, it makes everything a lot easier, and he's probably going to be able to check out Death Mountain pretty soon as well, so should be finding that bow pretty soon.
Meanwhile, Nickynoel making her way through Thieves Town. So she just picked up her Titan's Mitts, and she's going to be on the path to picking up her flute as well. Meanwhile, we've got Desert Ledge check from BossCrab. Nothing particularly exciting. But because he has the book, he'll be able to get into Desert, find out whether or not he needs boots or not for this Desert Palace seed.
Yeah, as Desert is a crystal, it is beatable depending on what's on the torch, so we could see a full clear desert now.
I will have to say, it does feel like boots are treated as a progression item a lot more frequently in this version of the logic compared to others, so it does often feel like you're slowly plodding your way around Hyrule, because it just feels like boots are used as progression a lot more.
Yeah, it can be frustrating too, because there's always that thing in the back of your mind that they might be required in GT, so...
Yep. Alright, so big key in Desert, and with Compass on the torch, that does mean the Desert is not only completable, but fully clearable. Which is always a sigh of relief when you're entering Desert without the boots.
Well, I don't know, BossCrab might want to come back for that compass, it could be useful later on.
he needs to know where that boss is located. Alright, Nickynoel heading through the Hellway through Thieves Town there. It's hard to avoid taking damage from at least one thing in that stupid hallway.
Yeah, she's going to have a slightly easier time than BossCrab in this one, because she's got a few more hearts going in than he did.
Yeah, she's also got that Master Sword and the mirror from Hype Cave. So we're gonna be seeing some instant flute activation, and she might elect to do the entire Dark World South loop. Wow, those cockroaches or whatever definitely giving her a problem.
I think they're called grasshoppers or crickets, maybe?
You could be right. Those gosh darn bugs definitely giving her a problem.
Yeah, they also hit quite hard too. If you've only got green mail, they can be quite scary.
Yeah, they do 2 hearts per hit. Luckily, Dark Zelda has turquoise gem mail or whatever her sprite is there, so she's doing okay. Wow, just getting trolled by the our enemy RNG.
And BossCrab definitely is going to full clear desert, looks like.
Oh yeah.
Going to have quite an easy fight with the Fire Rod against Land Mola if he uses the easy strat on that.
Yep. Nickynoel will have both Silvers and Fire Rod available to her when she eventually makes her way to Desert.
We'll have to see how good her aim is then.
Yup.
That one can be annoying because the arrows do fire slower than the Fire Rod.
Man, nothing says I feel like I'm going slow than having to go through Desert without the boots. BossCrab immediately remembers you can't light torches with a red potion. And another delicious cutscene wall linked to the past experience. I'd miss them if they were gone.
That's a lie. You'd love it if they took them out.
Alright, BossCrab has exactly 6 shots left in the Fire Rod, which is exactly what you need to kill this fight. Oh, it misses only one of them. Ooh, it still manages to 2-cycle it with a nice landmo pattern at the end there, so very well done. And picks up Bombos!
That definitely could be very useful.
Nice. Meanwhile, we got Nickynoel taking on Blind. First 2 faces, looks like they have gone according to script. And a Blind kill, so we got back-to-back boss crystal kills for both of these runners here.
Yeah, both players dispatching bosses without too much problem.
And we see on your right side of the screen there, Nickynoel equipping that mirror. So she's going to take advantage of the item that she had that BossCrab did not when he completed this dungeon. Be able to activate that flute very quickly, and more than likely will route in this Dark World loop here. Although I have been wrong before. she mirror bonks, unfortunately. Anyone who hasn't done that just simply hasn't played this game long enough.
Yeah, it's not just about necessarily being ahead at a specific time, it's about being able to do all the things you do efficiently. And this is a very efficient way of doing this bit.
Yeah, I would have turned BossCrab perhaps a little ahead in terms of raw progression, but these plays are definitely speeding things up for Nickynoel.
And looks like BossCrab's into the Mire area, so we'll see what medallion is required for Misery Mire. If it's Bombos, then he's already got it. It's not, it's Quake. So that could be interesting depending on where that ends up being.
Alright, red mail in the Mire shed. That's always welcome. But again, without that mirror, BossCrab is unable to check the checkerboard cave.
Yeah, that can be frustrating, and if there's something important in there, as Mire's only a pendant, he might not be tempted to come back here.
We got Resident Sleeper Peg Game. Get your Resident Sleepers out in chat, guys. This is not nearly as fun to do as it is with bombs. Although Nickynoel did manage to hammer crush a chicken, an undead chicken. So you know what, that makes it worthwhile.
Do the undead chickens attack you if you damage them too much as well?
I believe they do. But, you know, I'm too afraid to find out, because if there's one thing you don't mess with, it's chickens in a Link to the Past or Zelda game.
This is
Alright, BossCrab finally making his way to Hype Cave, and we'll be enjoying this 8 out of 10 A+ would hype again Hype Cave. Meanwhile, Nickynoel completing the Dark World North loop. But since she has already done the Dark World South loop portion earlier in the match, she does get to flute over here to turn in the Gary's Lunchbox chest. Opting to go back into the Dark World though, because I have a feeling she's going to be checking the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, and BossCrab is heading in the reverse loop in the Southern Dark World to get those locations he missed with not having mirror.
This is one thing that always makes me giggle. It's the swimming animation with the chest behind you. I mean, there must be like styrofoam or like life jackets in that chest. I don't really understand the physics of how that works. I do know it makes me giggle though.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool bits in the games like that.
Those must be the most buoyant 20 rupees I've ever seen, because they kept that chest afloat.
Well, I'd complain if it was 300 rupees, because I'd say if you've got 300 of them, they shouldn't be floating.
Yeah, that's a lot of cold hard cash. Alright, we're checking out this Bombos tablet. We're gonna get some roast vulture for our trouble too.
And only a Pizza Hut there. And BossCrab looks like he's going to do the Skull Woods check.
Yeah, and with this being a crystal dungeon, definitely a wise choice to be dipping into here. You got to clear it eventually anyway.
Yeah,
it is always interesting to see how the runners decide to approach Skull Woods when it's a crystal dungeon and they already have the fire rod. A lot of people like going through the front like BossCrab is doing, because you tend to get chests more efficiently, but a lot of people prefer to go to the back because you have to kill the boss anyway, and it lets you kind of see items back there first.
Yeah, that can potentially save time. I mean, if you get really lucky and both items are in the back, then that's obviously the dream.
Meanwhile, we got Nickynoel also discovering that desert is completable and clearable. So we'll get to see if she elects to go for the Fire Rod strats or the Silver Arrow strats for Land Molus. Silver Arrow is definitely a little faster if you can pull it off, but boy is it a lot harder than the Fire Rod in my opinion.
Yeah, the Fire Rod fires so fast, it's just so much more efficient to use. I'd rather take the extra hit. Oh, and a Tempered Sword for BossCrab.
That's always nice to find, especially right before the Mothula fight. Even experienced runners can sometimes have trouble with Mothula if he's being very unkind and sticking too close to the invulnerability spikes on the side of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's only 4 or 5 hits with the red swords to beat Mothula.
Yup, 4 hits.
So he's got a nice red sword to match his red clothes and his red rod.
Yeah, we're very color coordinated in the seed today. I like it.
Well, red is very in this April, so it's good that he's doing that.
Meanwhile, we've got BossCrab going for the one of the more annoying rooms in the game, in my opinion, but he did manage to clear it without too much trouble. But man, those Gibdos mummies just get in the way nonstop.
Yeah, and not needing to set up a death walk because he's got his mirror now, so he can just mirror back to safety.
Yeah, mirror is just so handy to have just for general routing and just speeding up rooms. It's probably one of a lot of people say they love the boots because it feels good to run fast, but I think pound for pound, Mir can save almost as much time as Boots, especially in routing decisions.
Yeah, I find I often use boots wrongly too, so I use them in an area that's too short, so I probably end up losing time.
the old reverse bonk time save strats.
And BossCrab wants to be a little bit careful in this room because he has only got regular magic, but it looks like he's making quick work of it. If those Gibdo get a bit aggressive with you, then you might have to use up all your magic.
Yeah, very true. But probably less worried about saving Fire Rod shots from Mothula since he has picked up the Tempered Sword.
Yeah.
Nickynoel opting for silvers does get 2 out of 3, I think, on that first cycle there. Oh, and immediately gets a nice 2-cycle. So yeah, but both runners managing to get a 2-cycle Landmilla, so very nice. And Nickynoel will be rewarded with bombos for her archery sharpshooting efforts there.
Yeah, so Nikki is a crystal ahead, but it is Hera, so it's a relatively short dungeon.
Yep, although that will be tied up very shortly here with BossCrab finishing up Skull Woods.
And now looks like Nikki is following BossCrab over to Maya area. She'll check the shed and the medallion required, and she'll be able to check Checkerboard Cave as well. And BossCrab checking the last chest in Skull Woods right at the back. Let's see what it is. Getting his mirror ready. Just a piece of heart. And now it looks like we're going to get that pedestal check too.
Ooh, that's always hype. Alright, let's see what we got. What's the troll level? Just a rupee stash. And BossCrab lets it lets us know what he thinks. Well, I have to admit. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just saying it's good to get that one checked early on. You know it's not going to troll you later on.
Oh yeah, when when you're in a 1v1 kind of heads-up tournament scenario, the last thing you want is to get completely blown out by one troll item somewhere. So taking the little bit of extra time to check, to check a pedestal location, especially when you're right there, I think is just really smart play.
Yeah, it's always good, especially if it ends up holding something like the Ice Rod when you've got Crystal T-Rock.
Alright, so BossCrab making his way through Dark Death Mountain.
Nikki picking up a couple of safeties there, while a safety is getting a blue potion.
And I have a feeling Nikki is going to be heading towards Skull Woods next. Yep, that appears to be the case.
And BossCrab's going to be able to clear out Death Mountain too, so they'll probably be about even after this, because they'll both have they'll be getting each other's crystals that they've already got.
Yep. So while we're going to be treading some ground that we've already seen from both these runners, it'll be real interesting to see, where, because there's a lot of items that we still need. We still need to find Quake. We still don't know what the required medallion is for Turtle Rock. We need Ice Rod and Hookshot, and Samaria, and technically Lamp. As far as I can tell for Go Mode. So there is still a lot of important items to find and routing decisions to make. So where both of these runners decide to go after they complete their respective dungeons here is, I think, going to be very key. I think a lot of it's going to come down to comfort level for the runners as to how capable or how good they feel doing pod without a lantern.
Oh, and Nikki just taking a grab from the Wall Master there, having to reset that room.
Oh, this room just sucks. There's been times I've came in here where the only thing I had that would kill them is Bombos, and I will take the time to sit through that spell animation and not have to deal with these awful monsters instead of having to get wall mastered or gibdoed to death.
So with the Titan's Mitts as well, BossCrab after this is going to be able to clear out not all of Dark Death Mountain, but everything up to that doesn't require the hook shot, I believe.
Yeah, he could opt to do Super Bunny Cave on the right side of Dark Death Mountain. Could get some eyeballs on Turtle Rock just to see what that medallion is, and I believe with Cape and Bottle, burn a Spike Cave is in the logic.
Yeah, it'll be good to get the Turtle Rock medallion checked early on too. That is Bombos, then at least he knows he's got it.
BossCrab opting for coffee break strats, as you mentioned earlier. Be a little bit shorter, he'll have to sip his coffee a little faster, but still manage to get it.
Yeah, the coffee break is always good.
It is worth noting that Nickynoel is entering this Mothula fight with just the Master Sword instead of the Tempered Sword.
Oh yeah, so she is. That's probably why she grabbed the safety potion.
Yep, and I think that's just heads-up play. Now, it does take 4 sword spins, I believe, or 8 Master Sword slashes to kill Mothula.
Yeah, but you don't want him to stay up there where he was, hugging all the spikes.
Yeah, whenever you hit Mothula into the spikes, the damage that you cause to get him there is negated, so... Boy, she started off this fight real strong, got a couple of hits in, but Mothula has been a jerk for the second half of it.
Although she's used that blue potion, so she can use her fire rod strats again now. And she dispatches him.
Nicely done. Yeah, I'd say an important skill to have, especially as these runners progress further in the tournament, is understanding where your limits are and knowing what you're capable of, and knowing whether or not you need to take the extra 15 seconds to grab a potion is just smart play. The last thing you want to do is try to overcome something that's incredibly difficult and not prepare properly for no reason.
Yeah, as you say, 15 seconds to get a potion versus a minute redoing a fight and backtracking to get there. Depends on the trade-off. Nice little strat there from Nicky, using the bumper to bounce herself down the corridor.
Yeah, those seconds can add up for sure. And BossCrab showing off that Tempered Sword with a 2-hit Moldworm fight there. Very nicely done.
Not today, Trolldorm, not today.
and not today, Pedestal. Because Nickynoel putting the pedestal memes to rest. So an option that Nicky is going to have that BossCrab did not is she could consider leaving Skull Woods and doing the kind of the Graveyard North route, which includes the Graveyard Ledge check. Now, it does feel a little bad to go over to that area without boots, but if you do the Graveyard check now, you can clear those other 2 areas without having to go to the Dark World. So if that is indeed where she's going, I do like that routing decision.
Yeah, that can be quite a useful one, and it is only 1 item on the way if you miss out King's Tomb, if you go around and then do the Eastern Dark World.
Yep, and she could follow that all the way over to, all the way over to, Catfish and swing down and do Pod and a Pyramid check if she really wanted to.
And BossCrab grabbing his shovel there.
I'm just trying to remember. I cannot remember if Nickynoel did the shovel check while she was doing her loop. I honestly cannot remember.
I believe she did. I can't remember what the item was, so that probably implies it wasn't important. Maybe chat can remind us what it was.
Very true. Meanwhile, Nickynoel showing off a very nice bomb jump there. Without boots, that that bomb jump has a 2-pixel window, so it's always impressive to see that, much less with a custom sprite where you have different layouts to line up that jump with, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, I need to practice some of these bomb jump strats with different sprites. They can get quite frustrating.
All right, we got chat helping out your absent-minded commentators, reminding us it looks like it was just a $20 at the shovel. So thanks, chat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, BossCrab picking up that bow and the flippers. So these runners have entered similar levels of progression. So where they go now, I think, could determine the course of how this race goes, because there are a lot of progression items still on the table here. But man,
Yeah.
at 50 minutes in, having 4 crystals done feels really good.
Yeah, that's really good for both runners, actually. Did chat happen to see what was on the bumper cave ledge, by the way? I think your absent-minded commentators missed that one too.
All right, nothing super important in the graveyard check. Nicky opting to take the portal again, so she might be making that catfish area down to pod play.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like
it was actually 50 rupees.
Oh, okay, that's right then. And BossCrab is checking the medallion for Turtle Rock.
Ooh, this is important. All right, let's see what Turtle Rock requires.
It is
Bombos. All right, so might as well open it up while you're here. But without Canis Samaria, unless you're one of the few people that can pull off hovering, is not going to be a lot of progress in the Turtle Rock area.
I think you have to be really good at hovering to be able to do that. I mean, there's being able to hover across a double gap, and then there's the entirety of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I don't even think Andy would be willing to put the time in to do that one. All right, so we got BossCrab checking out Super Bunny Cave here. Meanwhile, Nickynoel got us our first look at Catfish, and it was just another big 20.
Yeah, and BossCrab's also going to be oh no, he's not going to be able to check anything in the hookshot. Oh, he is now.
Oh,
Found his hookshot. That's convenient.
man. I had to say, Hookshot Cave being in Dark Death Mountain is pretty trolly, because a lot of people don't want to come up here until they have Hookshot for the Hookshot Cave check, so that check definitely, I think, puts BossCrab into a slight lead here.
Yeah, hookshot is, for me, it's one of the most useful items to have. He finds his ether, but it's not required. And nothing else of note. And Nickynoel is about to get her life lesson from King Zora.
Yeah, that is rough. BossCrab electing to go check out this Spike Cave. I think this is a pretty solid play, because if you don't route this in now, I don't know when you're going to ever get back to this area.
Yeah, you would just have to waste time, go back for it, especially as he's already got the hookshot. If he didn't have hookshot, then he could route it in with going back to Hookshot Cave, but... Should have just enough magic to get to the end. And only 300 bucks over there in Spike Cave.
Man, we are running out of 300 rupee stashes left in the item pool here.
It is quite a money-rich seed, and it looks like Nicky is heading over to Pod. And she's going to check Sahasrarla's closet.
Which he drywalled up closed for some reason. I think it will be interesting to tell. You know, Nicky is going to have to do a good chunk of pod outside of the logic, since she doesn't have lamp. But having the fire rod means that the turtle room isn't quite as much of a troll. So it'll be interesting to see if she decides, you know, if nothing is in pod, you could always mirror and check out Eastern, but Eastern is just a pendant, so that could feel like a time waste if there's nothing important in there.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, it is quite a short dungeon, so if you get lucky with your item placement, it can only take about a minute or two.
There was a question in chat that I missed. It looks like the question was asked when you're checking Burnus Spike Cave. There's that group of kind of a clock shape of bushes. Runners will often hit the cardinal directions, the north, south, east, west ports of those bushes. Those parts tend to contain heart or fairy drops more often than not. So you'll see runners slicing those bushes before they drop into that cave, just trying to top off their hearts.
Yeah, 1 or 2 hearts there can be the difference between making it and not. As we saw, BossCrab, I believe, did it with only 1 heart left.
Alright, so BossCrab finishing off the Smith chest quest chain that he half did without the mirror earlier.
Yeah, and Nicky's having quite a comfortable time in pod with the red sword, red mail, and she'll be making use of her silvers in a moment against the mimics.
Yeah, having red mail is going to be very handy when she does eventually get to the Dark Turtle room.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys will troll you.
Although it is certainly possible that the lamp is in the non-dark required parts of. Oh, there's Quake.
That's really useful. So, was Quake? Oh yeah, Quake was for Maya, but Maya's not required, is it?
Nope, sure is not. But it might be required. There could be something important in Maya.
Very true. So these 2 chests here, both of them can contain lamp. The vanilla big key and the one that was a small key just got from, I believe.
Alright, so we'll see how trolly Palace of Darkness is going to be here. A lamp in this chest would be pretty amusing. Nope.
Just a big key.
This dark room that Nickynoel is in is not particularly hard, but if you get off a little bit, it's easy to get lost in the sea of chests there. But she manages to pull it off. Very well done.
And down into the hellway. Let's see what's here. Just a map.
Ooh, is she skipping? No, she's not. Okay. For a second there, I thought she was going to be skipping that dark room, and I was corn.
I think she might be trying the hammer jump.
Ooh, you could be right. Getting the setup. You'll see players menuing here, trying to find the right pixels for the jump. So I think she's got it. Yep. Nicely done by Nickynoel there.
Got it just in time before the floor went away.
Hey, just in time still counts, my friend.
Absolutely, but it can get quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah, both runners ended up checking Sahasrara, relatively late compared to your average run. So interesting to see how they decided to route these in. And I'd say with the early Dark World access, that was probably an inevitability.
Yeah, the seed did kind of seem to be pushing them to the Dark World and also just towards the west of the world too.
BossCrab having slashing in frustration with his mirror bonks there.
He makes it through though. And it looks like Nicky is just going to go straight to Helmasaur and have a go at those Turtle Dark Rooms.
Yeah, with the fire rod, not as scary,
Ah, yeah, that's true.
but still scary because all it takes is a little bit of turtle RNG to, body block the fire rod torch lighting, and you're in trouble.
We have another of your favourite cutscenes with the wall moving.
Yeah, you were right before. I would actually not miss them if they were to, be gone. The nice thing, though, is with Pendant Mire, there's a good chance we won't have to see the worst one.
That's true. I think that one's like 10-15 seconds long.
Yeah, it's almost as long as the coffee break from like a tile room. All right, so we got Nicky entering probably the most dangerous part of Pod here, which is this dark room, turtle room.
She gets through the first corner room.
Oh, she's doing it without the fire rod. She was trying to do the regular setup.
At this point, it's probably worth it to just go for it, because if she can't find out where she is and hit the torches.
Huh, casting bombos. Does get a couple of the kills. I think she's trying to find her center now to light the torch. Oh, she gets it with the very last ounce of mana she has.
Oh, the clutch fire rod strats.
That was clutch. Wow.
And making quick work of the other three with the light.
Oh yeah. I mean, with Red Mail and Tempered Sword, the risk of taking fatal body damage from those is pretty low, but it did cost quite a bit of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, but quite quickly through the hallway with the 4 turtles and into Helmasaur.
Yeah, with Silver Arrows, Helmasaur will go down relatively quickly here.
Yeah, and it looks like BossCrab is checking the vanilla big key chest. I'm not sure if Nicky checked that one.
I believe it has to be a key based on the way key layouts were in this dungeon. Yes.
And a quick fight from Nicky, easily taking care of Helmasaur with those silver arrows, and getting a butter sword.
It's even though you already have Tempered, I'm almost never sad to see Butter Sword. It does make Ganon with Cape and Butter Sword and Silvers is a pretty elementary fight.
Yeah, I mean it's noticeably easier than the fight with Tempered, so it is useful to have.
So Nicky, finishing up with Palace of Darkness, is opting to walk out of the hedge maze. Wonder where she's going. Skipping Eastern Palace is not a terrible plan. There are a lot of other important places and things to do and places she could be going.
She might be tempted to rally Catfish, and it just depends on how quickly she thinks she can get there versus saving and quitting.
I believe Nicky actually already checked Catfish. Maybe she's walking out to Pyramid?
Yeah, I believe you're right, actually.
Yep, that appears to be the case. With Turtle Rock being one of the 5-6 red crystals, the odds of us having to come back here to Fat Fairy for progression are very low, so checking this off your list now is not necessarily a terrible idea.
Just the 10 arrows.
Oh, and another... This has been the seed of mirror bonks, unfortunately.
The other Zelda game where you can do that in the similar fashion is Oracle of Ages, where you travel through time, so it's the same concept with the different world.
So yeah, to recap, Hookshot was in Super Bunny Cave, I believe, which is an evil place for it to be. So BossCrab has picked that up. Nicky will need to make her way up there. The only other items we're missing are Samaria and Ice Rod. And potentially boots, depending on where the big key is in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, and BossCrab just did the hammer jump there, so cool because in the No Major Glitches run you use that jump to get over to where the hammer usually is. And both these runners seeming very confident with the dark rooms here, which is always good to see.
Yeah, seeing both runners electing to do hammer jump strats is always nice to see. Meanwhile, Nicky heading into Ice Palace, I think with the items available, it's a good play. Although checking Hobo first, not a terrible idea either.
Yeah, you never know. Hobo might have half magic, which will always be useful for Ice Palace.
BossCrab having a little bit of trouble in this dark room here. Those flame-spitting mini rhinos, I don't know what they're actually called, can be awful. Yeah, and electing to mirror out and reset. And give it a few rage slashes. Oh, and Samaria is in the hobo.
Wow.
Well, not in the
That's
hobo.
a really useful fight.
I don't know where he's been keeping that Samaria rod.
Let's not go there.
Samaria in
Samaria
possession of the hobo.
That Samaria is going to make things a bit easier in Ice Palace because it means you don't have to do the block, and it means that you can do a bit of a sequence break there.
Yes, agreed. At this point, outside of technically requiring the lamp and maybe needing boots, we have got just Ice Rod that we're looking for. And I don't know about you, but Ice Rod is one of the worst items to be missing for Go mode because it can be like literally anywhere that isn't behind Turtle Rock.
Yes, I mean at the moment as you said, I think the only place it can't be is in the pyramid, is at the Pyramid Fairy. I almost did that again.
Yeah, I think if you're a believer in following logic chains, the odds of Ice Rod being in Turtle Rock are not small. I think if a runner wanted to go to Turtle Rock and clear it looking for the Ice Rod, that would not be a crazy play for me. Oh, and boots in Ice Palace? Are you kidding me? Wow. Well, that means real Go mode is just Ice Rod away.
Yeah, and it looks like BossCrab isn't going to be... Oh, and the powder for BossCrab in Eastern, so that'll be a nice safety.
Yeah, I'd say if at this point Nicky needs to get to Death Mountain to pick up her hookshot, and then outside of that, it's a race to find the Ice Rod at this point.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is one of those places that she will end up checking, so I'm not too worried about that. It is as you say, it's the Ice Rod location. If it's in an out of the way place that people don't often check, if it's somewhere like King's Tomb, it can get a bit trolly.
Yeah, and Nicky, I think, making the correct choice to not use the Ice Palace bomb jump. If she's comfortable with the bomb jumps in Ice Palace here that aren't this one, and you're planning on full clearing this dungeon, not doing that bomb jump there is actually a little faster.
Yeah, that one not required if you're going to full clear it.
So Nicky heading up to the room you would normally need the hookshot to cross. Somebody who's confident to do the hammer jump, probably capable of pulling off this jump as well.
Yeah, also the aptly named Ice Palace bomb jump that most people know, a lot of people learn this one after that, because if you're going to learn one, you might as well learn the other.
So she's just a pixel or two too high on that setup there.
And looks like BossCrab might be coming to Ice Palace as well. He's heading into Lake Hylia. Looks like he will also go for the hobo check first.
Yeah, this is pretty huge for BossCrab because now he'll be, he'll have equalized his item advantage and then gotten the Samaria from this hobo. Hopefully he'll wipe it off first.
Yeah, although he hasn't beaten Pod yet, so he is still a crystal down. And BossCrab getting that cane that was in possession of the hobo, nowhere else.
Yeah, Nickynoel does eventually get that bomb jump. As another person, I regularly use the Zelda sprite, although not the dark one. And Zelda's flowing gowns do block her shadow, which is what a lot of people use to line up their bomb jumps. And since Zelda's shadow and the bottom of her sprite are also black, it can be very hard to use that sprite to line up bomb jumps. So it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, I don't think I've done the hookshot room bomb jump with Zelda. I've done the original one with her though.
Ooh, do I have a fellow Zelda sprite aficionado here?
Yeah, I do like to use her. It's good fun.
I mean, it is the Legend of Zelda, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah. Her name's in the title. It must be. It must feel a bit odd for. Well, it must feel a bit odd for both of them.
There needs to be an option to change the Zelda sprite that you're rescuing in the jail into Link.
I've been waiting for them to do that. I think that would be quite an amusing one to see who's who changed the princess sprite. Yeah.
All right, so curious to see where BossCrab is going to head next.
Oh, so he's not headed into Ice Palace. He's turned that down. He's
Heading into the Dark World, yeah.
It looks like he might be thinking about doing the Northern Loop, because he's already done most of the stuff in the South, I believe.
Boy, Nikki in an unfortunate position. Oh, she forgot to bomb the top to get the big key chest in Ice Palace. Unfortunately, that's really hard to route back in. Ice Palace is such an annoying and confusing dungeon to be in.
Yeah, I think she's got the compass already, so she might choose to just go straight through and do the rest of the dungeon, and then hope that it's an item on Cold Stare.
Yeah, opting to skip that one extra annoying chest in Ice Palace, just going straight for Cold Stare here. If this is, I believe there's only been 2 items found. Correct me if I'm wrong, in Ice Palace. There were 2 on the right side.
Yeah, I think so. And into Cold Stare, which is quite a comfortable fight with Bombos and the Gold Sword.
Yeah, and Red Mail. Still though, we'll see if she gets the nice setup for Cold Stare. Timing that sword spin is a little harder than it looks. Oh, she gets it. Only one little cloud that got away from her. Very nice Cold Stare fight from Nickynoel there.
Yeah, taking out the puffballs without too much problem, without any problem.
Oh, and their Cold Stare had a key, so there is, I believe, still 1 item left in Ice Palace.
Yeah,
Man.
So the question is, will she go back in for it, or will she feel that she's going to be better served going somewhere else?
Oh, that's like your worst nightmare. Yeah, I think she's leaving it.
See, the Ice Rod in the vanilla game is a bit of a troll too, because if you don't explore enough, you don't find it, and then you can just get yourself to Turtle Rock having never needed it, and then find out that you need it. And
That's going to be, yeah, and that's going to be in the back of her mind for a while, because, you know, she's going to check, I think, these boot locations, and then, you know, heading up towards Turtle Rock without the Ice Rods is a bold play.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't go back in. I think if the intention is to go up to Turtle Rock, which you would assume it is, because I think that's one of the only crystals left, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doing a quick check like this of items that were just unlocked in another dungeon is not a terrible idea. You know, it costs maybe a minute of time.
Yeah.
So this is not a terrible play at all. I mean, it's always hard to make that I don't have the Ice Rod, so I'll go to Turtle Rock without it play, because if you're wrong, you'll have gone through the entire dungeon and climbed Death Mountain for no reason, and you'll have to do it again.
True, but is there anything in Turtle Rock that can lock ice rod and force a double dip? I don't think there is.
Ooh, she's heading up, it looks like. So she'll pick up her hook shot here.
Yeah, from Nicky's perspective, it could be hookshot requiring a double dip, but of course we know hookshot is in Super Bunny Cave.
Yep, that is correct.
Opting to do the
she's...
Spike Cave check first.
Yeah, respectable, respectable. Be curious to see if she needs to go all the way over to Dark Death Mountain if she wants to maintain the lead that she has.
Yeah, it is good to get the Spike Cave out of the way. It can be one that's easy to forget.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and it looks like she is getting right back in the saddle and heading up to Dark Death Mountain. And without the hook shot, it's such a long walk. You've got to go all the way up the left side, go in and out of the Dark World, and then all the way across the bridge.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice spin speed from Nickynoel there.
Yeah, that spin speed without the hook shot is quite precise. It is harder than it looks. These guys do make it look easy.
Alright, so BossCrab, meanwhile, I think is going to be heading toward Ice Palace right now. Yep, that appears to be the case. Now, he'll have the hook shot, so he'll have a little bit easier time in the hook shot room that won't have to mess with the bomb jump that Nickynoel did. And we might just get a chance at seeing whether or not the last item in here is or is not the ice rod.
Yeah, that would be tough if it was.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. Oh, Nickynoel, just a sliver of mana short. Ooh,
That's
does
also
know
tough.
about the pull tree, quote unquote, on the side of Turtle Rock, but it is not magic at this time.
Yeah, although she can check some locations over here, so she's probably going to hope for a magic filling item or even half magic.
Oh yeah, well I mean there's a magic refill in the Super Bunny Cave here, so she'll be fine. But she'll have to spend time mirroring in and out. So.
And she gets a hook shot.
Yep, big hookshot pickup for Nickynoel, and boots pickup for BossCrab as well.
So yeah, this is pretty close. Yeah, as Nicky gets Ice Rod, she's marginally ahead, but this could still go either way.
Yeah, I think what Nicky decides to do right after Hookshot Cave here will be real telling. Whether she decides to go other places or whether she decides to go to bet the farm on Ice Rod being in Turtle Rock.
I think she's probably going to go for Turtle Rock, simply because if not, then she, from her perspective, if she's not going to do that, she should have gone back into Ice Palace.
Ooh, it looks like she's doing it. Alright, Nickynoel at 6 out of 7 crystals, entering Turtle Rock without the Ice Rod. Based on where the items have been in this seed, I think this is a pretty good play.
Yeah,
She's done a few...
I was just going to say, this is the type of gamble that can potentially pay off big time. If it's in there, then if your opponent decides to check loads of overworld locations beforehand, it can put you in a nice lead.
Oh yeah, definitely. And again, just based on the way items have been unlocked in the seed, I think this is a real strong play. But if she's wrong, it will cost her quite a bit of time. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on the right side of the screen, and we'll be looking for a light blue rod to be showing up in one of these chests. And we might be seeing lamp in Turtle Rock. So the logic wanted the old double Turtle Rock, or the Turtle Rock double dip. All right, I think we're going to end up seeing what was the last item in Ice Palace here.
No, we're not.
Oh, no, we're not.
Maybe we miscounted then, if they've both skipped the big chest.
Maybe we did. I don't think I did, but it's possible.
Although BossCrab is going back upstairs. I love that animation where Link goes through a door that's locked from the stairs.
Oh, yes, agreed. All right, Nickynoel making her way through the roller bar room there. The front of Turtle Rock is usually pretty full of keys, so most of the good stuff is toward the back. All right, we get to see what's in the FU chest. A small key. So the last item, as far as I'm aware, was in that big key chest.
Yeah, I think it must be. BossCrab is probably going to loop back round and get it in that case.
Yeah, that does appear to be what is going on. I wonder if he just absentmindedly forgot about the hookshot method of getting through those blocks.
Yeah, perhaps. And Nicky made a chomp room as well. Nicky making short work of the chain chomp room too.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a well-executed chain chomp room. That room can get away from you pretty fast, especially in the vanilla speedrun of this game when you only have green mail. Those guys do, I think, like 8 hearts of damage or some ridiculousness.
Yeah, I believe they hit the hardest of any enemy in the game, except actually Ganon. So appropriately, they are in the second to last dungeon of the game.
That dark bunny is just adorable.
And in the vanilla big key chest, it's just a small key. So BossCrab has picked up another bottle. Now, is he going to go back for the big chest, or is he going to go straight to Cold Stare as well?
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if the big key chest was the compass, and my ability to count needs to be called into question.
I'm trying to keep an eye on BossCrab's screen to see when he menus to see if he's got them.
Well, he skipped that one chest, so I have a feeling that that my ability to count is, bad.
Yeah, if he skipped another chest, he must have both. Must have the items
Yep.
already.
So yes, we apologize for leading you astray, chat. So the runners are just better counters than we are. Alright, so we got Nickynoel starting to approach the areas of Turtle Rock that are more likely to have non-dungeon items in them, like keys and maps and compasses. Nice Mimic Cave setup there. Very nicely done.
BossCrab is going to be doing his Cold Stare fight with only Tempered Sword, but with Red Mail as well, he shouldn't have too many issues. I say Tempered Sword.
Nickynoel picking up Cane of Burna. I said keep an eye out for a blue cane, or a blue rod, and I guess a Cane of Burna is technically a blue rod, but that's not the one I meant.
Another useful one to get though, I believe it does drain, at the cost of lagging a bit more, it does drain magic slightly slower than the cape, which can be useful.
Yep, that is true.
I believe that cane can also be one of the weapon items found at the start, can't it?
Yes, in fact, both canes can be one of 7 items in the start.
I would be very interested to see the Cane of Burner strategy then from the start. That would be cool.
It's a little tight with magic, but if you can pull it off, the cane is actually one of the quicker items to kill enemies compared to some of the other ones anyway, like bombs.
Yeah, and I guess if you're lucky enough to find the half magic early on, then that would just make it a lot better.
All right, we're approaching the moment of truth for Nicky here. We're gonna see if this this ice rodless Turtle Rock dive was a genius move or folly.
Nice laser skin.
Oh,
Oh, it pays off!
Wow. Genius
Wow, that's
move,
brilliant.
apparently. Wow, what a bold play that ends up paying off.
And Nicky is officially in go mode.
Yep, that is correct. She will be able to finish off Turtle Rock here. And having 6 out of 7 crystals completed, this last one will mean she'll be able to enter Ganon's tower very quickly afterwards.
Yeah, really nice race from Nickynoel. That gamble it's a brave one to take, but when it pays off, it's really nice.
And meanwhile, I think BossCrab is heading over to... Oh my gosh, is he going into Swamp?
Oh no, BossCrab, don't do it, don't do it.
There's so many items in Swamp. It's hard to ignore the siren call of what's in there, but yeah, he'll be disappointed. He'll be done clearing Swamp probably right around the time Nickynoel is doing her final climb, depending on where the big key is.
Yeah, and Nicky making quick work of Trinex there. Very nice fights.
Yeah, all these runners actually, BossCrab and Nickynoel have done a pretty good job at all the boss fights. Haven't seen any deaths. They've been mostly very clean.
Yeah, it's good to see, as you said, when we get later on, we do get the runners who are much closer in skill level, so it makes for some much more interesting and closer races.
Yep, that is true. All right. So we've got with 7 out of 7 crystals. That means we've got the big key guessing game. So for those of you who do not know, there are 22 locations where the big key could possibly be in Ganon's tower. And for those of you who have subscribed to Speed Gaming or donated 250 bits to any of the Speed Gaming channels, can be entered in the leaderboard if you are correct. So go ahead and get your guesses in. Where do you think that big key is?
Where do you normally go for files?
Oh, I like to gamble on Randomizer room just because it's named after the room.
I don't believe in lucky numbers, but I still have a lucky number of 5, and I pretty much always guess that.
I can respect that. All right, so chests 1 and 2, out of luck. Yeah, it's interesting to see how the meta for Ganon's Tower has evolved. It used to be everyone kind of did things the same way, and it seems like there has been a lot more variance in the strategies. Some people opting to go Dark Magician strats, where you go to the Stalfos room first and then mirror out, and some people going full right first.
Yeah, I mean, I believe at the start everyone did no major glitches, all the strategy from there, and it's found in that room there.
Oh wow! So that was chest number 4.
An early big key, so Nickynoel well on the way to getting to Ganon in a really, really good time.
Yeah, definitely very well done there. But yeah, the strategies for Ganon's Tower are it's always kind of cool to see how people route it differently. You know, if you're trying to minimize variance, there's ways to go. If you're trying to make a crazy gamble, there's ways to go. If you're trying to make a ridiculous, crazy, probably stupid gamble, you can always do tower room first.
Yeah, I think if I feel like I'm losing, I tend to go right side first, and that's because I think, even now, I think most people prefer to do left side first. But generally, yeah, I think I'd probably go left side first. I feel like there's a bit more of an item density there.
Yeah, my preferred route has lately been going the semi dark magician strats where you go left side first to the Stalfos room, and then just mirror out of there and go right side. Because man, I hate killing those red Stalfos. They're always jumping everywhere, throwing projectiles at me, cracking wise about my mama. So we got Nickynoel making her way. Oop, I'm sorry, I spoke right over the top of you there.
No, that's fine. I was going to say basically the same thing as you. Nicky's making her way through the gauntlet quite comfortably.
Yeah, and unfortunately, BossCrab is making a pretty reasonable play, not wanting to go into Total Rock without Ice Rod, but unfortunately, we know that this is not going to bear any fruit.
Yeah, I think he's committed himself to this swamp play, so he's probably going to beat the dungeon unless he counts all the items off before he gets to Argus.
Well, Argus is technically a green pendant, so he might be in it all the way through.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I love those cane strats on the whiz robes. They're just great fun.
Oh yeah, it's so satisfying. Throw down the block, all three of them die at once. It's good stuff.
And Nicky just missing the bottom left whiz robe on there, but dispatching it easily enough afterwards. And into the torch room, which can troll you a little bit, but again, Nicky making short work of it. This room can be a bit frustrating if you've not got half magic or the lamp, because the fire rod does consume more magic.
And with red mail, butter sword, and silvers, pretty much the only like safety item you could possibly hope for in any of these chests would be half magic. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's worth the time to to run around and check. Probably up to the individual runner, I guess.
I don't think Nicky's bothering because she's skipping this one now, and she skipped the 2 in the mini Helmsaw room.
Yep.
Quick Moldorm fight. Not today, Trolldorm.
Nope. And BossCrab also finishing off Argus. I have a feeling he's going to go straight to that green pennant turn-in and is going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, both these guys took a bit of a gamble. BossCrab gambled that Pendant Swamp was going to hold something. Unfortunately for him, Nicky's is the one that's paid off, and she is into the Aga 2 fight.
Get out your protractors, kids. It's time for Aghanim 2.
Yeah, if anyone's getting ready for their trigonometry finals, then this is the bit you need to watch.
Yep. Nicky getting a bit trolled by blue balls and not great patterns. Missing a few shots, unfortunately.
So there is one slight advantage of doing Aghanim Aga 1 is that I believe the patterns are identical for both of them in Randomizer. So you'll already know what the patterns are going to be if you go Aga 1 then Aga 2. And BossCrab is opening up Maya.
Well, at this point, I definitely understand where BossCrab is coming from here. You've put off Turtle Rock at this point, so you're basically saying, if Ice Rod was in Turtle Rock and my opponent went there, I've probably already lost. So, why not continue to check these pendant dungeons? Like, I understand where he's coming from here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just unfortunately, he's not right.
He probably made the decision beforehand to check both of these two before going into Turtle Rock, because combined they do have more items. Well, I mean, Swamp has more items, but you've got 8 items potentially in between Swamp and Maya. 9 if you include dependents. And a comfortable fight from Nicky for Ganon so far. She's already on to the second to last phase.
Yeah, Butter Sword makes pretty quick work of Ganon.
Yeah, I think Ganon's a bit more used to margarine. That butter does some serious damage to him.
He has been exercising and taking his medication. He's got high cholesterol.
Nice double from Nicky there.
Probably a double and 2 singles here. Yeah, and she finishes up the Ganon fight.
Yeah, that was a really nice fight actually, especially with the double. Get your GGs in chat, guys, for Nicky.
Yeah, pretty nice clear of a seed. Making that hero call on Ice Rod in Turtle Rock definitely made the difference. that did just happen, Triforce. That did just happen.
Literally feels like the seed knew exactly what was going on there.
All right, so we'll see if we can't get Nicky in here for an interview.
Yep, and while we do that, BossCrab is still having a look through Maya. If we look at the tracker, I believe there isn't anything left for him to find. So it is unfortunately one of those times when we know there's nothing to find, but he's still going to keep going until he realises it.
All right, it looks like we are joined by Nickynoel. Nicky, GG, congratulations on your victory.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so really nice run there. What were you thinking with regards to the Ice Rod and whether to go into Turtle Rock or not?
Yeah, so I went upside because I really didn't like my options. Like, there was Swamp without hook shots, and there was Eastern. Eastern is always bad. And then there was Misery Maya. So I just went there, wanted to look for the 3 chests, which in regard to the other dungeons is already a lot. And well, check if I even have, if it's Ether, I don't know if I even can go there, so that's knowledge I would really like to have. I was really scared when I saw the lamp. I was like, oh gosh, this dungeon. I probably don't even need to gamble on T-Rock, and this dungeon now has to have lamp and Ice Rod. But yeah, once you are in, you cannot just go out.
Yeah, that was actually my big question too, is if you were worried that lamp was all the game wanted you to get out of there. But yeah, when you're already there,
it's. I don't care about finding the lamp, but I was really scared when I saw the lamp and like, standard loot? I mean, yeah, if a dungeon is loaded, it likes to be fully loaded, but
yeah, I have to agree there.
I really did not care about the lamp.
Well, yeah,
the gamble paid
seed
off,
was
so really well played.
Yeah, the seed was pretty trolly with you know, Lantern all the way in Turtle Rock. Were you worried at all about the dark rooms? It seems like you pulled those off pretty well. You showed us quite a bit of nice tech with bomb jumps and what have you.
Yeah, my top 3 in dark rooms are the worst is Misery Maya. I hate placing that block. Third is second is Castle Tower, which fortunately we usually do not have to do. And then third is Pod. But yeah, I had Dreadmail, a good amount of hearts, so I was pretty confident, even though it took a while to get the Turtle Room done.
Yeah, the Turtle Room can be pretty trolly if they body block lighting the torch with the fire rod. Things can get out of hand. Well, it looks like your opponent is finally heading toward Turtle Rock. I'd say the big difference here is that between you and your opponent is that BossCrab elected to clear some pennant dungeons instead of heading to Turtle Rock on the hero call for Ice Rod being there.
Yeah, I would guess the only thing that, if anything, made a slight difference. I mean, boots were in a location no one really wants to go early. Was probably the mirror. That was nice to find like 8 minutes in.
Yeah, you found mirror.
Went to Hype Cave, which, I mean, I've almost full cleared everything. I think my world map is completely empty except the pendant dungeons. So that
Yeah, you
may
found
surrounding
Mirror
lots
very
of
early.
them.
Yeah, I think Mirror was within the first 10-15 minutes, and then
Yeah,
it took
easily.
BossCrab
I
a
went to
little while to
Kakariko.
get it.
Yeah. I went
Boss
to
Crab.
Kakariko back at 15.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was laughing at Boss Crab. He found the lantern in Turtle Rock and gave us a few rage slashes there.
Totally understandable.
Absolutely.
If you are required to find the lantern, then this is not a place you want to find it. Especially with Ice Rod deeper in Turtle Rock. It's so evil.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm curious. Has BossCrab beaten Pod? I don't think he has.
No. Remember, Helmasaur had Butter Sword, so
Oh yes.
Boss Crab is still untempered. So he had a trouble with the dark room with all the fire breathers in it, and elected to mirror out.
Yeah. Oh, I thought BossCrab was going to peace out of that then, and maybe go back to Pod. But no, it looks like he is committing to the Turtle Rock gamble.
I think he's making the same call that Nickynoel did. You're already here. Strap in. Let's let's go as far into this dungeon as we possibly can.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
even if it's Go mode T-Rock, like normal Go mode, you have to full clear everything anyway usually. Okay, you wouldn't have to go to Laser Bridge this time, but that's really not a lot. So the time you take to go for these items, compared to having to go back all the way, you might as well just full clear it. All the way to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, it can be a trade-off. I mean, the temptation might be to go back to Pod straight away to see if Helmasaur has the Ice Rod, which is certainly possible.
That is, especially if you compare it to the options you have left.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
it's just Helmus. So if you would tell me we have all of Pod, then sure. That would be a different story. But just Helmus, so it's like...
Although, I mean, Pod is a crystal, so he still needs to do it. I personally always like to finish T-Rock and then go straight to GT.
Well, yeah, the less times you have to climb Death Mountain, the better for the most part.
Yeah, we've seen many a race decided just on who's had to do the fewest Death Mountain climbs.
Well, Boss Crab getting to put his mirror shield, the riot shield, to good use. Won't have to mess with any laser bridge skips or anything like that.
Yeah, so he'll quite comfortably find his Ice Rod there, and then he'll be able to easily deal with Trinex.
And I have a feeling, now this is just a guess, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more rage slashes once that Ice Rod chest is opened up.
I suspect you may be
I
right.
would expect that he can already guess it, considering I finished pretty fast. At least I would make those conclusions.
Yeah, once he finds it, I think it's gonna be pretty obvious that you went for the earlier Turtle Rock.
All right, we get to see your stats there, Nikki. 134, pretty good chest count.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it also is GT.
Yep, that's very true. Yeah, the
It's
key was
like-
in the fourth chest for you.
Yeah, if it's in the back of GT, I have 15 items more, and I mean, we are missing 30 to basically full clear. At least when I full clear, I'm around 160. Well, 164, 169.
I like the coincidence of the collection rate being 134 and the total time being the in-game time being 134 too. BossCrab forgetting to use his Cane Samaria in time there, falling in the hole.
Sometimes the button, the brain command to press the button happens a little after you reach the threshold for falling off the cliff.
Yeah, we have all missed our games every once in a while.
The one that always gets me is if you have to do Dark Turtle Rock. I usually fall off the cave once or twice. before I correctly place it. The room that BossCrab is entering right now.
Yeah, no matter how easy some of these dark rooms are, just having the lamp is such a nice safety.
Yeah, even if you're capable of executing difficult strats like dark rooms or other locations, if you are, if you're not fast at them, if they take you an extra minute or two to clear, it still might be worth your time to do other things first. Just because you're capable of doing it doesn't mean it's the fastest thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean that room with the not the walkways, the floating pads. If you take the wrong pad there, especially in that room, then you're gonna have no idea where you are.
Yep, and there we go.
Bombing the chest to tell us exactly what he thinks of it.
I mean, this was a loaded turtle rock, as Nicky mentioned, with ice rod and lantern. Nice door dash by BossCrab there.
Yeah, those can be a little finicky to line up, but pulled that one off nicely. Ooh, BossCrab getting sniped there.
So because BossCrab has not finished off Palace of Darkness yet, he will not have Butter Sword for a quick and easy try next. So, although Tempered is still pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
it
you
becomes
should have quite a
interesting once you
comfortable
have
fight.
to hammer.
Sorry,
Yep.
go ahead.
Yeah, it just meant it only gets interesting once you have to do hammer. That's something everyone should go and practice.
I definitely need to
You are
practice
not
hammer strats and
confident
try
in
next.
Because I know in all those times before I practiced it, it was so difficult.
Yeah, Hammer's got an interesting hitbox, especially if you're going vertically.
Yeah, I think the advice I've been given before is always try, at least at first, always try and do side-to-side attacks with your hammer.
Yeah, what's worked for me pretty well is first go for the fire head, 3 attacks, and then move over to the ice head, because once there is ice on the floor, it becomes a lot harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I usually prefer to go for the ice head first, actually, for that reason. But I know I'm in a minority there.
Yeah, as Arira says, the fire head is just the first one you can attack. You can get a few hits in before the ice head actually gets attackable.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah, the ice head should
BossCrab,
be the one with the priority.
BossCrab forgetting that you have to enter the Dark World to access Palace of Darkness, unfortunately.
Well, he's remembered now he'll be getting his 7th crystal in. And, well, I guess it depends where BossCrab goes in GT now.
Yeah, the right side G tower strap seems to be getting popular for reducing variance, so it'll be interesting to see what BossCrab decides to do.
Yeah, Nicky, we were talking about the GT strats. Did you think you were behind when you went into GT? Is that why you went right side?
No, actually because I thought I was ahead. Even though I finished a lot, having the early mirror and especially like finding the ice rods, like it's the first of 4 possible dungeons. I was like, play it safe, right side first.
Yeah, you reduce the chances of getting penalized 4 or 5 minutes for it being on a quick chest on the right side.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I can afford to lose a minute if BossCrab decides to go left side first.
Well, BossCrab will have the advantage of being in possession of the mirror for the turtle room at the bottom of Palace of Darkness here.
Oh, you mean the lamp?
Oh yes, the lamp.
He definitely doesn't want to use mirror in that room.
Well, you could use the mirror. It would just be foolish.
It would stop you from taking damage, I'll give you that.
That's true. See, I'm all about damage mitigation. It's easy. That's what I'm all about. And also, I'm very vain. I like looking in the mirror. So yes, this is the intended way to complete this room with visibility. And you'll be able to see as we enter this bottom turtle room here, the layout of the torches. It seems pretty straightforward, but man, is it hard to line those up in the dark if the turtles don't want to cooperate.
And this should be a pretty quick Helmasaur fight as well from BossCrab. He's got all the upgrades. One silver arrow takes care of him, I believe.
Yeah, 1 silver arrow or 4 slashes with a sword. Which is why from Tempered on you don't really need to switch anymore.
Yeah, silver arrows, if you can get that shot in, make pretty quick work of Helmasaur.
And he gets it. Gotta pad that bonk count. BossCrab picking up his butter sword, and he's going to be heading back to Death Mountain to make the long climb up to GT.
Yep, that is 7 out of 7 crystals.
So where do you think BossCrab's going to go? Do you think he's going to go full right side or left side or what?
Oh, it's hard to tell. When you know your opponent's already finished, you don't feel the need to make crazy gambles, would be my guess. So he might be, he might go the similar reasons that Nickynoel did and just try to reduce variance to find it potentially as soon as possible. So it wouldn't surprise me if he went right side. But it's hard to tell.
Well, we're about to find out.
The nice thing for BossCrab is that the one advantage to nearly full clearing a seed is that you typically have all your safeties. So there's not going to be a whole lot of reason for BossCrab to check any extra chests on his final climb up GT once he finds the big key. He's already got Butter Sword, he's already got Half Magic, he's already got Red Mail, he's even already got Powder. So it's just going to be a straight shot, find that key, go punch a pig.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicky, you must have been very confident with your magic use, because you didn't check any of the last 3 or 4 chests for the half magic upgrade.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get one full refill before Mildom 2. And I mean, I have silvers, so I really should not run out of magic unless I want to use the cape for phase 2. But I mean, then I have butter and red mail, so even though I only had 12 hearts, yeah.
Yeah, it's those little time saves especially that can add up, and skipping 4 chests, that's potentially about 10-15 seconds, which yeah, that can make or break it.
Well, it looks like we're gonna end up seeing a bit of the scenic tour of G Tower here, because it looks like BossCrab is going with the left side clear.
Yeah, I'm expecting we'll pick up a mushroom at some point throughout this.
G Tower Big Key, fortunately, cannot be behind any fetch quest items. At least not on this mode.
That is a troll. I would like to see Key Sanity or entrance randomizer Key Sanity or some kind of game where it could be behind that. I guess it would only be entrance randomized. Key Sanity, I guess.
Oh yeah, you'd have to have Key Sanity for it to be anywhere else but inside the dungeon. So yeah, this is the room. This is the half the reason I like doing Dark Magician strats. Is man, those Stalfos in that room are annoying as heck.
Yeah. If I have Master Sword, I would think of relying on bombos.
Yeah, the strats for doing that room at 2x speed, I believe, are Ether, since it casts relatively quickly.
I only know Bombos kills everything, so...
Yeah, I believe that Ether freezes the Stalfos, doesn't it?
I believe actually Ether kills the Stalfos.
I think you cannot freeze them, so they die. The logic is probably if you freeze them, they die instantly.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
and the cast time is faster than Bombos.
Yeah, I know that Ether does freeze some things. So.
If you're extra salty at Gyptos, you can freeze them, and throw them into pits or what have you. That's always fun.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a rando room check. So I believe this was your guest files, but unfortunately we do already know where the key is.
Yeah, we're even out of goodies. Are good things to find in here. No half magic or other benefits. So just $20, the compass, heart container, and another heart container. Not even the Sank heart. Never lucky.
Although no rage slashes from BossCrab, so I think he's probably just quite comfortably exploring GT and seeing what he can find.
Oh yeah, I mean this route right here was the standard meta route for a good portion of the tournament last year. So this is a pretty efficient chest per minute check. You know, if you're looking for the big key in this place, it just worked out not to be the way to go this time.
Yeah, it can get frustrating if you're going through this and you just don't find anything, and you're getting closer and closer to the Armos, thinking it's not going to be here, it's not going to be here, but you're committed.
This was also the anti-Bob way to do it. Had to get the item off of the Bob torch, and then Bob's remains got powdered, so rip that guy.
Yeah, that's a funny glitch there, is it? If you don't collect that item, the anti-fairy sprite despawns.
BossCrab showing us through gameplay exactly what he thinks about the key layout of Ganon Star. I've seen this room before, BossCrab says. Well, he just had to, he had to get the map to find out, where it said the key was. He's just very lore friendly.
Very true.
Well, the nice thing is with half magic, BossCrab is going to have a little bit easier time in the gauntlet. He'll have a little bit more liberal use of fire rod to clear those rooms, which is always very nice.
Yeah, he's got the powder as well, so if he does get a bit low on health, there's quite a few anti-fairies around.
Yeah, powder is such a nice safety to have. Even players who run the vanilla version of the speed run with NMG still like routing powder in until they're really trying to push their time lower. It's just such a nice safety to have.
But apparently we both really skipped Eastern. Or did BossCrab actually dip into that?
Yeah, he dipped in, I believe, right at the front. He didn't beat Armos, if I recall.
Correct. Yeah, he went all the way to the big key chest, and then I think he noped out. So yeah, BossCrab did enter every pennant dungeon. But that's how you know you're getting trolled by your seed.
I had that my last tourney race. I know how it is. Fortunately there, my opponent did the same.
That's always the dream, right?
It doesn't matter how lucky you are, it matters that you are more lucky than your opponent.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun your friend.
It's like, obviously execution can make something, but you often have things like this where you have like one item per dungeons.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like execution can push you through everything there.
Yeah,
that's
but if
the
you're 2 dungeons ahead, then execution probably isn't gonna help your opponent catch up with you.
and really that's the beauty of the randomizer. And I think the appeal is, skill and execution 100% matters, but it will always come down to routing and how you choose to proceed through the seed, and always there's a little bit of luck involved too. BossCrab just getting the business end of that BMOS.
Yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The mirror shield should block those.
Yeah, that seems like an interesting lore fail. I wonder what the reasons for that were. Maybe it's because of the way the BMOS projection is treated. It can't be reflected. Wow, a very nice Silver's Landmo kill there by
Yeah, that was
BossCrab.
nice and quick. I'd call that like a half phase. He got them all before they were fully out of the ground.
And here's Squeezy's favorite room.
The cane is just great. I think it's a really underused item in the whole of Zelda. I think if I recall, the only other game that has a cane of Samaria in it is Oracle of Ages that I mentioned before.
Alright, so BossCrab entering the Torch Firebar room here.
Managing not to get knocked off the bridge there by the torch. Nice and lucky.
Well, there's actually ways to mitigate where and how you get pushed when you get damaged by those things, depending on where you're facing and what direction you're hitting. It does affect which way you get knocked when you get hit. So depending on how you handle that, there's actually not a whole lot of luck involved.
Oh, fair enough.
But it's one thing to know that, and it's another thing in the heat of the moment when you're about to get hit by a fire bar while you're standing on a 1 square wide bridge to not press the incorrect direction to get knocked off. Because I have I have fallen off that exact bridge that BossCrab has not fallen off of many times.
Yeah, I believe there's something similar in the Ganon fight, maybe with the fire bats, to do with the direction you're pressing and which direction they push you.
That is correct.
Is that if they push you, then
The mushroom.
if you're pressing a direction, will they push you the other way?
Yes, and I believe usually the correct answer is to be not pressing a direction at all, because I think if you're neutral, the fire bats will not move you. But again, when you're standing right next to the edge of the Ganon fight, the urge to pull the direction away from the pit is very strong to get over mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. And BossCrab with a nice pinball room and into his Aga fight. Gets 2 hits on him immediately.
Yes, clearly BossCrab has brought his protractor, but is getting trolled by the same blue balls that plague Nicky, unfortunately. Managed to get the hit, but because of the delay on the Aghanim teleports, these balls are coming out before that Aghanim even spawns.
Yeah, that was the worst part about this Aga fight. That really quickly.
Oh, and he did that again.
Aga was just so far behind that the others didn't even matter.
Yeah,
BossCrab
that
playing
fight
us a
is
nice
one
tune
that
there.
can troll you. BossCrab playing the song of his people with the hook shot on the door there.
See, the interesting thing is you can actually get to that point without the flute, and then Link still plays the flute to follow Ganon.
Yeah, I'm still curious as to how, if that duck is capable of entering the Dark World, why you can't use him to fly around normally. It's just lazy swag duck.
Maybe it took him the entire game to find the portal for the Dark World in the sky for the ducks.
This is probably a special duck, which you can only call with and a special flute you stole from Aga 2's corpse.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Magic flute, yeah, definitely.
Although I suspect the game designers got all the way up there, like, all right, we got this great Aghanim fight, top of this tower. How do we get him back to the pyramid? And then everyone just looked at each other and didn't say anything, and the intern said, magic flute. And then he got promoted. Once again, Buttersword making quick work of the first few Ganon phases here.
And BossCrab getting the torch glitch as well. That's very nice.
Alright, and the fourth shot does the trick. That is a dead pig.
And firing off all his arrows just to make sure.
Well, get your GGs out in chat, guys. BossCrab sticking it out through a potentially troll seed. Finishing up with its approximate 2 hours, 5 minutes, and about 28 seconds there.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well played from BossCrab there. I think the temptation can be, once you see your opponent's finished, is to just go, oh, well, I'm just going to peace out now and go do something else. But yeah, fair play to BossCrab for carrying on.
All right, we are joined in the channel here by BossCrab. BossCrab, GG.
Hey,
BossCrab.
thanks.
GG.
It was something else. GG, Nikki. You crushed me.
Yeah, I gambled correctly.
When I went into Pod and Eastern and there was nothing there, I was pretty sure I had lost. The seed was... It seemed pretty... Everything was in a pretty obvious location, except for the lamp. So, I knew if I made a wrong decision, I probably lost.
Yeah, I actually checked everything except Fat Fairy and the 3 pendant dungeons in the end. But yeah, I got early mirror, and if you just go into T-Rock having cleared all the others and then find Lamp and Ice Rod.
Yeah, I think if I had one or the other, I would have gone into T-Rock. But with 2 items, I was like, I'll go into Swamp, I guess. I'll go into Mire. It's just the wrong call, so it happens.
Yeah, you guys were had remarkably similar routing for the very beginning of the seed. Considering how early Dark World access came, but the early difference was Nikki found Mirror a bit before you did, but you had just crushed out a lot more of the Crystal dungeons before she did, BossCrab. So
yeah,
toward the end, it ended up being the hunt for the Ice Rod.
Yeah, I figured I usually don't leave Hype Cave like that, but I figured I had all these dungeons I could clear. I might as well bang them out when I could. Yeah, I didn't feel like I played too poorly until obviously the mirror or the lamp and the ice rod. I figured we would have been pretty close, considering everything was like everything was in like Hype Cave and on the mountain. Everything was in a pretty simple location. It was just a lamp and the ice rod. We just couldn't find them.
Yeah, hookshot was for me also kinda, but fortunately it was not really needed, except the fact that I took like 7 times to get the bomb jump. That bomb jump sucks.
Yeah, that's rough. I can't even do it. I just give up. But yeah, I mean, especially after Pod and Eastern, it was like, oh, I probably lost, so I might as well keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. If you're committing to that, it's not in Turtle Rock gamble, you might as well see it out, because if you're wrong, you probably already lost.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I thought if I go to T-Rock and it's there, I win. And if I go to T-Rock and it's not there, then I've definitely lost. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just bang out. There's 6 locations in Swamp. How bad could it be? Turns out pretty bad, actually.
Well, there's still, for how early we are in the Swiss rounds, there's still, I was looking at the pairings, and there are very strong runners in all records at this point. There are very strong runners that have both been 0-2, 1-1, and 2-0. So there's still going to be a lot more interesting matches to go the further we get into the Swiss tournament here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not too happy with over 2 minutes, but that's okay. It is what it is. Nikki, did you PB? I've seen some of your VODs. That seems.
In my thoughts, I compare against average. I can check.
Ah, okay. Okay.
It is very close. It's very close compared
Yeah.
against PB. Oh yeah, PB is 137.28.
Very nice. Congrats.
Yeah, another GG there. I mean,
So you're
135 is a good time to anyway, but yeah, PB as well.
All right. Well, any final thoughts before we sign off from our two runners here?
Good race. I made the wrong call, but you finished with a great time anyway. I think even if I had made the correct decision, it would have been very close, or I would have lost anyway. So I had fun. It was a good race.
Yeah, and for me, finally got lucky. But yeah, also thanks for commentating Squeezy and Files. Thanks for restreaming Fiesel. Thanks for tracking. I don't know, but thanks a lot.
Yeah, second to all that, you guys. Without all the volunteers and Fiesel and everybody, these tournaments wouldn't happen straight up. So thank you for all your work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
happy
randomizer community is really good about pulling together and putting on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, this is my first time commentating. I've had a really good time. It was nice doing it with you, Files, and thank you guys for your race. I think you both played really well.
Yeah, thanks again to both our runners. That does finish it up for us here at Speed Gaming 4, but there is plenty more randomizer action coming down the pipe. The tournament is still ongoing, so there'll be a lot more of this coming on. If you haven't already, make sure you check out Speed Gaming family of channels, Speed Gaming 1, or Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Why don't you give those a follow if you enjoy this type of content or any type of racing content. Fiesel and crew do put on a good show, so make sure you give those guys a follow. And for all of us here, I've been Files. I've been joined by my co-commentator Squeezy, and we will see you next mission.
See you all soon.